which marketing takes place, describe the various forms of healthcare markets, and then describe ways of delineating geographical market areas. So how do we define markets? Now, I'm sure the first thing that comes to mind when you think about market is a place where sellers and buyers converge to exchange goods and services. And some other people also define a market as being made up of a group of customers who share characteristics that affect their needs and wants and make them potential buyers of goods and services that will satisfy those needs and wants. So, for instance, every woman in a geographical area would potentially need maternal care. And so women or maternal care could be used to define a market or the idea of women within a particular area because of their special needs could be defined as a market for maternal health care services. Now, in healthcare, markets refer to individuals or organizations that have an interest in or consume some healthcare products or services. Is that okay? So when we talk about the market in healthcare, we are looking at individuals or organizations that have an interest in and or consume healthcare services or products. As for the individual aspect, you can understand, but the organizations that have an interest in and consume healthcare products or services, let me explain that further. Sometimes some organizations, big organizations, would use the provision of healthcare services as a condition of service for their employees. So in this case, they become interested in and they may pay for healthcare services for their employees. Is that okay? So that is where we look at it at the organizational level. We could also have insurance companies that have an interest in and also help their subscribers to purchase healthcare products. So that is where they also become of interest when we are talking about healthcare. And so in trying to define a market, we can look at it from a political, social, or economic characteristics of life or lifestyle or attitudes. And so and in healthcare, there are 5 main ways that you could define your market. So let's look at those 5 ways that markets are defined in healthcare. You could look at it geographically, you could look at it based on population segments, you could look at it based on customer needs, market opportunities, and then increasingly we are having markets without walls, and I shall be explaining all that. So when we talk about geographically based markets, we are talking about markets that are defined by geographical areas. So you can say that for a healthcare facility, they can say that their market is maybe all the people living in Accra, or they could even be more specific, maybe all the people living in Medina or Legon. Is that okay? That is a geographical market. So a healthcare facility can say that in defining our market, in saying who we provide service for, we are looking at maybe the whole of Accra or the whole of the greater Accra region, or we are looking at Legon or Medina as specific geographical location to define our market. So when a healthcare facility defines its market geographically, it's trying to say that they are willing and able to provide services to people, all walks of life of people, or all categories of people living within a particular geographical area. And so what are some of the things that are used to define these geographical markets? They can use political or administrative units, and this one is usually done by government. So when you use political or administrative units, you are trying to define your location either on a national, regional, metropolitan, municipal, or district, and it is usually the government that gives such boundaries. Is that okay? To locations. So you can use that to define your geographical location. So you can say that maybe you provide services nationwide, which means that in every part of the nation, your facility can be found. Or you can say that you provide services in a particular region or a particular metropolis or municipality or only a particular district or even sometimes a particular community. You could also use statistical units to define your geographical location. And these statistical units are, sometimes you have census data that gives you an idea about the population within a particular area. Or you could use demographic health service. Who has heard about demographic health service? Anybody? Has anybody heard about demographic health service? Okay, so these are health services that are taken routinely on a specific group of people in a particular area to try to collect health information over a period of time. So it can be 10, 20, 15 years. And so sometimes they may be confined to a particular geographical area, or they may move beyond a particular, so they could cross districts or regions to be able to collect these demographic health data. And the reason why health experts collect this data is to be able to, over time, look at disease patterns and the health patterns of a group of people so that they can design appropriate interventions for them. And so you could, as a healthcare facility, choose to use these, the data that is generated, like the specific area that these demographic health service cover. You could choose that as your area that you are providing service to. Please note that this demographic health service is not done all over the country. They pick specific areas to do this service. And the areas that are chosen usually coincide with where we have the Ghana Health Service Research Health Research Centers, and we have one at Dodowa. And so within the Dodowa enclave and the Shai Osudoku area, they collect this demographic health service. Then we have one in Kintampo. So within that area too, they collect some of these demographic health service. And then we also have another one at Navungu. Is that okay? So it's not all over the country, but specific areas in the country. Please, do you understand?
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Yes, madam.
Then you could also define population segment. And when we talk about population segment, it means that you look at the general population. You want to provide services for a particular segment of the population. It could be only men, it could be only women, it could be children under 5 years, it could be children above 5 years, it could be the aged. You look at a particular population segment for which you are interested in providing service to and define that as your market. Maybe because you provide specialist services that are tailored towards only such group of people. So you could use population segments to be able to define your market as a healthcare provider. Then you can also use consumer demands. And so you can say that you provide services, you only provide ophthalmological services, that is eye care services, or maybe orthopedic services for the aged, or maternal services. So instead of using segment of the population. Look at what is in demand in a particular area and then provide services for such a people. In that case, you have defined your market based on the demands of the people. Then you can also define your market based on market opportunities that are available. So if you can identify a community or an area or a population segment that is not served, and so you can take advantage of that to provide services for them. So you could look at areas where there are shortage of providers or lack of facilities, or you can say that you don't want competition, and so you go to an area where there aren't a lot of providers. You can also take advantage of the fragmentation of providers to make sure that you provide, you try to have every service in your facility. Let me explain what is meant by fragmentation of providers. And this is something you observe a lot in healthcare services. You know, when you go to a hospital, we have general practitioners and then we have specialist service providers. And even the equipment that is used to do diagnosis, you may have some in a facility and you may be asked to go elsewhere to have some investigations done before diagnosis can be done in the facility you first went to. Now, this brings about fragmentation of the services and then the providers. So what it means is that all the providers cannot be found at one place. So sometimes you go to a healthcare facility, then you are complaining of your eye. The general practitioner will see you and then refer you to an eye specialist. And then you find that sometimes the eye specialist is not located in the same facility. So it means you have to go outside for that service. And sometimes it has to be dental services. Sometimes it can be a minor thing. Okay, I wouldn't say minor. It could be a thing like X-ray. They don't have the facility there. So they'll refer you to another facility where you can do an X-ray before they can tell you what is wrong with you. Sometimes even lab tests. Not all healthcare facilities that have laboratories that can perform complex tests on you. And so sometimes they will refer you to another facility. So it means that the services is fragmented. So you cannot walk into one service and expect that whatever problem you took there will be taken care of from A to Z and then you leave the facility whole. That is what fragmentation of services is about. So you could take advantage of this fragmented services and get a group of providers together at one location. That is taking advantage of a market opportunity. So that is how you take advantage of market opportunity. Please, any question from me on that? Are we all on the same page? Okay. I will take your silence to mean consent, or you have a question? Can I continue?
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Yes, madam.
Then we, okay, thank you. Then we also have market without, and these days it has very common to have markets without walls. And people no longer define market geographical location segment, but by the ability to do different needs. We have the print and electronic media. And so anywhere you can buy any health product from any part of the world and it can be delivered to your doorstep these days. And there's also the issue of telemedicine and all that. And you don't have to be in a particular specific geographical location or belong to a particular population segment to be able to enjoy the services of telemedicine. And so these days, increasingly, we are having markets without wall. And so as a healthcare facility, you can choose to have markets without walls where you reach out to the whole world as long as you're able to deliver your services to people wherever they are. So now it's like there are no more limits. And I'm sure you can attest to that. When you do have time, practice some of these sample questions. Is that okay? Good. You have all my slides so far, don't you, class? Sorry, I am not asking you to talk plenty today, but for those topics that I think are very easy to discuss, be rest assured I would involve you in the conversation. Please, is that okay?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
madam.
Madam.
Yes.
Okay, so let's look at delineating. Yes. Okay, God says so. So delineating geographical markets area. When we talk about markets, or clearly your geographical market, what are some of them? Able to clearly define which area constitutes your geographical and you can do that by analyzing data that you collect on patients who visit your healthcare facility. Now, when somebody comes to your healthcare facility for the first time and you are creating folder for them, please, can you hear me?
Madam, please, I can't hear you.
Okay, is it better? Okay, is it?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. So when people come to your facility for the first time, you need to create a folder for them, whether electronically or physically, and you ask them where they live or where they are coming from. Now you can use that data to be able to determine which group of people constitute your core market. Is that okay? So when you collect such data and you analyze it, you're able to generate a lot of information on your customers. You remember last week we spoke about database marketing, where you generate information on your customers to the extent that you're even able to predict what service they will require next, and you position yourself to be able to provide that service. So when you generate such data, you're able to determine which group of people fall in your core market. And for you to say a group of people fall in your market, you can say that if about between 75 and 80% of a group of people in a particular area use your healthcare facility, you can refer to them as your core market. And then your secondary market accounts for about where 25% of your clients come from. And then the last one will be for about 15%. Those people will be in your tertiary market. Oh, now I hope it's better now. In Nkrumah, Rosemond, I hope you can all hear me clearer now. So you can actually analyze data that you have collected on your patients to be able to define your geographical market. Sometimes it becomes necessary to redefine your market. When you are redefining your market, it means you already have a market, but some circumstances may have changed, and so you need to redefine your market. It could be that the objectives of your facility have changed, and so whilst you are interested in providing general services, you think that maybe providing specialist services is more lucrative. In this case, the objective of the facility has changed, and so you can redefine your market based on that changed objective. Another thing could be that maybe the composition of your market has changed. So maybe whilst within a particular period, you had a lot of people in their youthful age, maybe over time, they have migrated, or there are more elderly people within your geographical area. The composition has changed. And so you need to redefine it and then redesign your services to meet the category of people that you now have. Sometimes you also have to redefine your market because of changing clientele. And so maybe you may be in a particular area where you have people from a different ethnic group coming all together, and their health needs may be peculiar. I don't know whether you've done or are doing socio-cultural dimensions of health. You see that there are a lot of social and cultural factors that influence health. And so you may have to have people from a different if you have people from a different ethnic group or a different area joining you, then you may have to redefine your market. Then we could also have untapped markets. Untapped markets is where you don't have a lot of people in that particular area or interested in providing services in that area. Is that okay? So you could define your market, yes, based on untapped market. And so for you, you are interested in places where people, other service providers may not be interested in going because you have seen some opportunity there, and so you want to go there. Then you could also use inferences to be able to define your market. When you make inferences, what it means is that you make assumptions or based on some information you have. So for instance, let's say that you've seen that the economic or the socioeconomic lifestyle of a group of people is changing. You can anticipate that as they become more wealthy, it's changing positively. So then you can anticipate that as they become more wealthy, they are likely to demand services like cosmetic surgeries and other things. And so based on that economic data that you have, you can make inferences that these people are going to be needing some of these services. And then you strategize yourself to be able to provide such a service. This is everything okay?
Madam,
Yes.
please.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, very good. So that said, do you have any question for me on defining healthcare markets? Any question? Okay, so can I go on to the next topic?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, so let's quickly look at profiling healthcare markets, and then we can call it after. Oh, indeed, the network has been terrible. Sorry, Hillary. Please, are you all having the same problem?
Yes,
About the
Yes,
terrible
madam.
network?
Yes, ma'am. Madam, please,
Okay.
I can't hear anything.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
but you have this one.
Can we?
I shock.
That's what this one there should be here. Please, okay, so should we call it an afternoon?
Yes, please.
No, madam.
No, madam.
Yes,
No, madam.
Yes,
madam.
madam.
Yes, madam.
Madam.
Saying
Yes, please. Yes.
Madam.
Yes.
Don't say
No,
Bernard,
madam.
don't say no, madam. Is it that you are not using the university's network?
Madam, majority of us are on campus and the network is very bad.
Yes, there was light up. I think it may have affected it.
Madam.
Exactly.
Exactly, madam.
Bernard says 20 marks for inconvenience. Bernard, minus 20 for you. Right now you are fighting for one station.
Madam, all my ears. All my ears.
On the slide.
Okay. Okay, so please let's meet next week and then I would continue from here and then we'll add another one. Is that okay?
Yes,
madam.
Thank you
So
very
I'll
much for
send
being
this
understanding.
recording.
Bless you.
You are a savior.
Hey,
You didn't want to come to class already.
Madam, please, can we have
This
this?
this